are we all real souls here having a human experience?
From my experience, most of us have a real soul background, but many of us have chucked them out of existence. So the soul is somehow attached, but more in the function of an observer in a cinema. You see a movie, it's happening, you can't intervene because your avatar is completely hooked to a control mode where he is played, and the soul cannot influence the outcome of his deeds anymore because it doesn't get access to the system, because the only entry point is the heart chakra. If it is blocked, the soul has nothing.
Voel de kracht van Simos. Ga naar mijnmineraal.com om meer te leren en te ervaren hoe Simos jouw welzijn kan transformeren.
So in this time you have a good hope and belief of that's why you give so much intention to healing, or
I've got a good feeling for myself because I know my resonance field, and there's no space for too much suffering in my resonance field. So I'm completely relaxed and convenient on that end, unless my soul decides to stay with those who suffer, because I don't care. I don't mind to be in heavy emotions. I can handle them. For me, pain is as well as joy. So maybe my soul decides to travel through a lower vibrational plane to be there for the people who need me. I don't know. I haven't decided consciously, and I don't know exactly what my soul plan is.
And what about like you healing with entities? Because I have like a lot of other people that don't heal with entities. And when you like heal traumas, then without the entities involved, are you actually then taking the trauma away initially? Or are all traumas just linked within entities somehow?
No, normally, first you have a trauma, then you have like an energetic wound or a low energetic area in the body, which is offering the space for an entity to place itself in there, to basically to help heal the trauma. Because the entity's duty is to trigger the topic back into life. Yeah, like when you grow up in a bad family and you're not allowed to express anger. And when you express anger, you're completely punished and destroyed by your parents. You will expel that quality from your system. And then you have a huge gap in your belly because, this is a destroyed, injured region of your bioenergetic field. And then probably kind of some archon with a specialized ability to be angry will position himself there and will live the anger for you. Yeah? And he will create such a mess in your life that you will be forced to take care of him at a certain point to get this anger under control again. And when you take responsibility and control to express your anger under divine consciousness again, the entity will leave. So it's like like in literature, it is the force that always wishes bad and creates the good. Don't know the original English quote. Ein Teil von jener Kraft, die Böses will und Gutes schafft. In German. Part of that force that desires bad and creates good.
And how do you like then see them also? Like they're spiritual, right? They're not real, but they need to be seen or felt in order for them to be taken and sent to the light afterwards.
Necessary evil.
It's necessary. It's an integral part of creation. If you create unconsciousness, by traumatization, automatically you have a shadow.
Yeah.
And the shadow is forcing you to shed light on those areas. And then it disappears. It's not an enemy, it's a friend at the end of the day, unless you are in that struggle we call duality. This is just a phase, it's not an eternal concept when you start to develop.
Well, also a big question is that we talked about this previously, but maybe for the watchers, we can really astral project in the end, right? You are someone that is one of the first people I met that really can do this. Maybe like a black belt, you are in it. you can like project yourself as a soul into this astral plane and do this whatever you want, or not. Maybe I just want to. I'm curious in your perception regarding this.
No black belt. Rather the opposite. I refused those possibilities to the point where they came naturally. I know a lot of people who do not have the spiritual standing to travel safely, but they go kind of force themselves into experience of traveling into the astral, and then they meet all sorts of demons and get crushed by them.
And then they get back into the body afterwards.
And then they're traumatized 100 times worse than actually necessary, because they overestimated themselves in where they can go without getting crushed.
Okay.
And I skipped those types of experience.
Yeah.
I just decided not to travel until it came naturally.
Okay. So like you're going to sleep and then boom, you astral project. You're not lucid dreaming. You are astral projecting.
Not so active. I hear it from other people. I hear that people call me during their dreams and I appear in their dreams and do the same type of work I do during the daytime. And then I get quotes from myself of what I do. And it's exactly what I would have said, you know. It's so funny. So apparently I do astral project in the nighttime, but I have zero memory and zero consciousness of it. It's just a service done by my higher self.
So no rest for you?
Not for my higher self. I get pretty good rest.
Okay, nice.
But it's not that you do it then consciously
I have
right now.
No memory and no consciousness about it.
Okay.
What I do have sometimes, you know, the concept of self-healing is almost perfect. Sometimes it needs a hand. For example, if someone is basically captured in this phase of childish stubbornness, where you do not have a will, you just can wish the opposite of what is expected from you. Yeah. Some people get stuck in that phase. If you look at the bioenergetics, you have this ball of solar plexus energies that has fear, will, anger in it. It's outside of the body to the left, hovering on the height of the solar plexus, but being off axis. Normally you would say this is something easy to fix. You take the ball, push it back in and integrate it. But if you have someone that is in this state and you suggest it to him, he will not be able to do it because he will seek the opposite of what you suggest. Because this is the mechanism of having this ball out there. If someone tells them, what would you think about doing this? They would automatically seek the opposite. Because they're stuck in this childish development phase. And this is an endless story. Then they can get 80 or 90 years old and they will still be stuck in this stubbornness. And then it does make sense to accept the kind of request, can you help me to reintegrate my will from that stupid position? Yeah, I acknowledge that I am a stubborn person, that I always do the opposite of what is expected from me, no matter if it's good or bad. I self-destroy over that principle. Yeah, I want to finish that, but I can't fix myself because I don't want to. It's blocking itself. And then you can basically, if the one is in the room, you go there, you get a sensation for that yellow ball that is sitting on the side, and you gently take it, press it into the main axis position, and you say, now you have the possibility to integrate it. The decision to keep it there is then done by his own will. The service to push it in is a hand that this human just needs, because he can't fix it himself at that point. This is one of the very few things where other healing is essential, where it's not the self that is fixing itself. Normally I would say, we all sit in this beautiful cinema, we are projectors on the seats, and we project a shared vision onto the screen, which we call reality. And self-healing is the projector acknowledging that a screw is a little bit loose and he fixes himself as a projector. This is self-healing. Other healing is an avatar on the screen is trying to fumble around on another avatar on the screen, but none of the projectors is touched. So you would not expect a change in the projector. You would expect a temporary change in the avatar, but it's not substantial.
It's not on the quantum level fixed.
It's not fixed on the quantum level, not in the real realm. Yeah, this is the principle of the difference between self-healing and other healing. So you always will prefer self-healing over other healing.
This is what we need in our healing, and especially in Belgium and wherever all the world needs it. I hope you're ready to spread it somehow or to teach with what you're doing already.
Yeah, this is what we try to explore, research, and teach on all levels. It's like it has two ends. One hand is the big field of protocols, things that are appearing over and over again. The structure of a trauma is always the same. It is something you felt and did not express. What it needs is the expression. Yeah? A soul split is there was something too heavy to feel, so you cut yourself off from your own emotion. And there's a cut in your system. Still, everything is in place. Soul loss, something was so intense that an aspect of your spirit left the body to not experience this. And he is still out, but he is self-aware. He's kind of a split aspect of your being that appears as you in the moment of traumatization, but creating a soul loss. And the soul loss needs to be called back in. He needs, because he is self-aware, he needs to agree to be reintegrated. And then you can pull him in. Yeah. These are kind of the through...
Like what just happened, actually. That,
these
that
are
was
kind
a self-aware aspect, yes.
Yeah. And these are the through core archetypes of healing. Trauma, split, and soul loss. And you can find it as a repetitive structure with all sorts of problems. And this is kind of a part where you can write protocols. How you do you solve a trauma? How do you fix a split? And how do you reintegrate a soul loss? You can write protocols how to do it, and they work. And then it's getting more complicated. Once you have the damage done to your bioenergetics, you have all the add-ons that come in. You have personalities that are built. You invite archetypes from the collective that try to fix a bug that happened on the road. You have body armor. You have implants. So you have a long list of add-ons that try to keep your system running while being broken. And sometimes the fix is in the way kind of the temporary fix is in the way when you try to achieve real healing. So you have to remove the add-on to be able to come to the lower level of healing where you actually work on your original bioenergetic. This is kind of one level of protocols that are evolving. And then you have the problem when things with their primary reason lie deep in the past. Some things you cannot fix in this lifetime, just looking at this lifetime. Sometimes you have to look at previous lifetimes to find the core trauma to solve. And you go back to another lifetime, or you have epigenetics with problems coming from your family tree that your grandparents experienced, but you have the signature of their experience in your genetics. Then you have to look at the epigenetics and your family line, and if you're really clever, you combine the two. You see the line of incarnations in your own family, and then you understand your entire karmic cycle. So this is kind of the third level, going back into the past, solving the problems at the point where they originate from. And then you have at the fourth level the biochemistry of your body that sometimes can form a vicious cycle. So you solve the psychological soul aspect of a problem, but once it has expressed itself in psychosomatic disease, they self-stabilize and basically get stuck in a vicious cycle. Then you need to go to environmental medicine to remove the block that is establishing the vicious cycle, or find the weakest point of the vicious cycle to cut it, to bring it back into self-organization. This is the entire knowledge, and half of it is expressible in protocols, and half of it is very personal and needs to be kind of taken with pure intuitive approaches. Like you face someone with a problem that is absolutely unique, and you need to learn to trust your intuitive powers to find a path out. Not for you to apply, for him to follow, to apply it on himself. But it needs a clear mind to mirror and guide a troubled mind through process.
Like right now we did a process, many processes today, only we had to come fully to Hamburg. And many people really need this worldwide. Even in Belgium, it's crazy how much needed it is. And like how can people get involved? How do we can do this by our own, or how can we let the needle go forward in some type of way?
I don't know yet how we can do that. I for the last years I completely focused on Germany because I was overwhelmed with work, kind of first serving all the people that found me. I never advertised anything. It was all coming to me by mouth-to-mouth propaganda, basically. And then I realized it's getting too much for me because I was booked 24/7. And then I realized, no, I have to educate other people in doing the job of leading someone through. And since then, I'm basically every weekend on a seminar to teach the method, just focusing on the German territory. And now it started like coming in with invitations from Switzerland, from Austria, from North Italy, now from Belgium. So I have to put Germany into the hands of those who are already fully educated and start teaching it in English, kind of to reach other countries. I don't know yet how I'm going to do that. Okay. Maybe I can try to do it online, kind of online seminars.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's possible because some things just communicate well if you are in physical presence. So maybe it's going to be a combination. Doing a little of the way online, but then inviting people to a central place
Aquarius Technologies website. His BitChute, it's not from him, but it's all the content that is online.
Yeah, on
where
YouTube, but,
it's not deleted by YouTube because he got fully shadow banned on it.
Well,
And
fully not, but
No, they
lots of things
they
are gone.
released a lot of things again. now.
They released it
Then,
on other channels or so. Yeah.
And then we have timeloopsolution.com where you have all the data to delete your transhumanistic technologies within.
The theory, the products you find at zirizana.com.
Yeah.
And Molekusan, especially COVID-related
I got them
stuff.
all from BioPure.
BioPure is also delivering
the same. Yeah, it is also.
Molekusan
Yeah,
products.
okay.
Doesn't make a difference.
All right.
Molekusan is the original producer.
It's-
BioPure is just trading the stuff for the same price. So I think what needs to be communicated the most is that things are on a good path at the moment. Humanity has achieved things in quality that looked unachievable for a long time. This is something we can celebrate every day, kind of achievements in quality. In quantity, it's still a mess. And this is kind of a function of the mental, because when you look at the function of what is a mental field for, it's for future prediction. It records experience from the past, projects the experience into the future to be capable of making predictions for the future. What can I do to achieve a certain result? And it is done by echoes. You echo past experience into the future, overlaying different echoes to be capable of predicting a certain result you want to achieve.
Like rings in the water.
Yeah, like different rings in the water. But the physicality of it is the echo. And it doesn't go beyond the echo. And this is the stupid reason why someone who is stuck in the mental is close to incapable of coming out of it. Because he can just echo. He can echo and echo all the stuff that he used to process in that traumatized state. And there is no creative impulse that is coming in to enable him to make a choice, to make a creative decision to alter his path. Because you need the heart consciousness to set that impulse. And once the heart is cancelled out from the game, you can just continue in the echo. And you do not have any essential healing process being started there until the heart is setting this impulse.
This is what you did with your lecture, just for me.
No, I did nothing. You did
I did it for me, consciously going there.
Yeah, I just delivered an inspiration.
Yeah.
And this is all you can essentially do. Share your experience as an inspiration, and then other souls can take the decision to follow the inspiration. You cannot do more. Everything that is more is actually counterproductive because you disempower people when you try to achieve more than inspiration.
What do you mean? Like
if I start to want things for you, I deprive you from your will. And whatever experience you go through is happening on a diminished spectrum. It's not your entire soul that is participating in the process. Yeah? What we have as the most beautiful pattern is you understand where you stand. You understand the story you come from. You draw a landscape of where are you at that moment. Then you form an intention. You form the intention of getting somewhere else, of healing yourself from where you maneuvered yourself into. Then you take the intention to your stomach and you check, do I really want to fulfill this intention, to bring it into life? Do I want it, or do I collide with anger or fear instead? If it's anger, you're still sitting on a projection, giving the blame to someone else. If it's fear, you're not in the state of being self-responsible yet. You might still be a child that is not initiated, that still is looking for daddy's commands. Being afraid of disobeying instead of being afraid of the real danger. So let's assume that you find the will, then you take intention and will to your heart and you make a decision, and then you have an action following the decision. This is how you involve your entire potential of field structures that are sitting in you into a process. You take it from the mind to the stomach to the heart, and then with a decision you bring the decision into the material plane by taking action. And then it's kind of taking the action is kick-starting the fractal expression of the change you have made. And when you interfere with someone, like making the decision for him by pushing your will on him, you get an incomplete spiritual process. Yeah? You deprive him from his self-responsibility by being other-responsible. We created this beautiful German newly created word of wohlfrei. It doesn't exist in German.
Yeah.
It's like free of will. You accompany someone, you give him the inspiration to do things, you act as a mirror to reflect where he stands, but you leave all the choices, the understanding, the intention, the will, and the choice. You leave it all with him. And then he can basically take that holistic step of self-healing. The moment you apply too much pressure or expect him to achieve something, you interfere with the divine system on the other side, and it's getting distorted. Like,
so you let go and you just...
Yeah.
And what about the good news also for humanity here? Like,
the good news is that we have achieved things in the quality. The bad news is it's not there in the quantity yet. It's achievable as an inspiration, but because so many people are stuck in the mental, they do not pick up on the inspiration, because they just continue to live in their echoes.
But how many more seeds we plant, the more it will spread, I guess.
The easier the inspiration will be picked up.
And then that is the last question, maybe, like, how do we make the unconscious people conscious?
We don't. They make it themselves.
Okay. We just have to inspire them then.
We can be,
Or we can.
From the time when I was still in technology development, we have this beautiful insight. There is no invention more powerful than the one you use with passion yourself. If you find a path, if you find something new,
with passion,
and you apply it on yourself and use it yourself with passion, people see you in your happiness, and they will want it themselves, for themselves. Yeah? What the most powerful tool I have, this is what people say, is the quality of my voice. Yeah? Because when you listen to what I say, you can feel the broad spectrum of heart consciousness shimmering through my voice. And people who are stuck in their mental field and they talk like this will feel poor when they...
Bro, it's so crazy that
when they
if you see
hear
the previous podcasts of me, then I'm like... it's like, where? And now, get a calm Niels here. Yeah.
So,
crazy, Harald.
Yeah, this is kind of the shining quality of something you have applied on yourself. Yeah, and I remember myself wanting to be the one who makes the difference, but before I didn't heal myself, I had no inspiration on my side. Yeah, I wanted it so much. I wanted it because I had kind of an idea of my soul plan, but I wanted to be there before I got there. So everything I created was a big mess for everyone else, and the moment when I accepted that lesson that it's me who needs to heal first, and I took a whole year off, from that heated path of mental busyness to completely pull back from public, giving things a break, fixing it in myself, and then slowly I came back. And people were going like, where are you? What have you been? You were taken by the dark side. And no, I was not taken by the dark side.
We thought you were killed,
doing
actually.
My fucking, I was just doing my fucking homework.
But you never got banged by institutions or by big companies or by governments or...
In the beginning they tried
to kill you or something?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Really?
Every 6 weeks. Kind of.
What?
But it was because I was still caught in duality. I don't blame them. It was like just reflecting on my nasty pushiness. It's okay.
There is always someone who has to rock the cradle, eh?
Yeah, and when I let go from duality, nothing happened afterwards.
Oh, really? Yeah, but it's nice.
Completely. I don't even have trolls bugging my ass somewhere. It's like it's not happening anymore because I don't have that resonance in me.
Well, you speak very calm, but wouldn't you speak so calm? You wouldn't do this whole day, and afterwards. Another podcast, eh? In a whole day. How many hours are you talking now?
14.
Yes, so...
And tomorrow again. And maybe the day after
So you have to speak calm, or you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it's the higher levels expressing themselves through me. That I don't have energy issues with it. Yeah, because it's supported from the core. The body gets tired at a certain point.
Yeah, of course.
Because you need your detoxing cycles in the night. And if you overdo it, you mess with your body. But it's not that I'm draining myself on soul level. It's all well supported, so it's okay. And I don't need to concentrate on what I say because it's talking through me in any case. No clue what I've been talking about for the last 2 hours.
Well, maybe one last question. Like, we get so caught up in technology. I think we didn't go fully through it about going back to nature and to Mother Gaia and to, have this technology combined, but with Mother Nature. Or do you think we fully leave it actually in the end?
We need to leave it.
We need to leave it, yes.
The black mirrors.
Yes.
But how do we find connection to Mother Nature then back again? Or we just need to leave it? Like you say, go away from it and then go with nature?
I don't know what's going to evolve. I see two possibilities for the future. Either the ones who leave it will shine so bright that the ones who are still will get jealous. Yeah, this is the more beautiful path. our universe will lose its patience with us and just send down a beautiful sunstorm to break down the entire technosphere to bits and pieces and rip it off from us in one big strike. And then all those people will be dropped into their pain.
So you cannot like use technology in an advantage type of way, like in a positive way, no? No, there's nothing good about it.
Okay. If you use a cell phone, you deprive yourself from the need to develop your telepathic abilities. You will not develop them because you don't need to develop them. If you are in the need of telepathic communication because there is no other way to communicate with your family, you will develop the skills. So what is good about a cell phone?
You need to call?
No, you don't need to. You need to develop your telepathic abilities. And as long as you use the phone, A, you kill your receptors for the telepathic bit. Yeah? And B, there's no need to develop anything. So it's just blocking our natural abilities. Yeah? Look back to Steiner. Yeah? When electricity came up and they just had the stupid 220 volt supply in the walls of a building, Steiner said, wow, this is disabling my perception to such a high degree that I lose my spirituality when I'm living close to a fucking 220 volt grid with maybe a radio and a light bulb connected to it.
And now we have a
now we have a whole
technosphere,
skyscraper of frequencies sitting on top of us, blocking every single natural access to frequencies that the body might have.
And blocking the ley lines, blocking the magnetic field.
Blocking everything. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare of frequencies.
So then how do we get back to that do we need to go fully nature, like 3 times a week, 4 times a week, go chill there, or like get back to Mother Gaia,
The good thing is if you manage to raise your frequency to a certain extent above the average level you're living in, then you create a form of hyperspace so that the technological frequencies flow around you. They flow around your own hyperspace. You're like your own UFO.
Like your aura is strengthened in that type of way, you mean?
Yeah. It's like in UFO.
So they don't go through you then?
It doesn't go through you. You need to get rid of the heavy metals in your system. This is what pulls radiation into the tissue. Yeah. Like 20-30 centimeter. Mercury loads in the physicality 20-30 centimeters intake of radiation. If this is out, you're halfway protected. If you then higher your frequency and hold a higher energy density in your aura by not having all the leaks of being traumatized.
By healing, huh?
By self-healing.
Yeah.
Then you can stabilize your own hyperspace, and even 5G doesn't feel painful.
All right, yeah.
And we have all the products. Like, do you take them all at one? From timeloopsolution.com, or how do you advise going forward with the...
I would check where to start from. Like the most common thing you see is a disabled liver on the detoxing part. Yeah. A liver that is in a shock state by having an overload at poison by antibiotics or pesticides or fungicides that you take in with your food, or medications or psychoactive substances, whatever.
And the best thing for that is like then silica dioxide, colloidal magnesium? Or
if you have a disabled liver, the only really intelligent path is to revive it first.
So not by products, no.
And there is a product that is helping, but I can just give you a guarantee if you take the personalized form. Like you have an individual examination, dark field microscopy of your blood, radionic analysis of
so you need to get a liver analysis first.
And then you get kind of an analysis of the history of the deterioration of your system, and then you can get a personalized product that is unwinding that path, bringing your liver back into life. This is where we have the experience. It works in 99% of the cases. It does exist as a...
That's not on timeloopsolution.com, this data?
No, this is just like in personal communication with the Institute for Infopathie, and Radolf Zell. They make the personal analysis. They are basically the institute behind Sirisana. That is trading, Sirisana is trading the custom-made products of them. The personal work is still done in person by the institute.
Okay, and then you go to Siri to get there the things to detox the liver.
And then if you need any additional products to help your body to go through the resetting phase of your liver, you can buy that stuff on Sirisana. Also, all the COVID-related products you can directly buy at Sirisana.
Medicinals also? No,
not yet.
Okay,
Medicinals
not yet.
is just at molekusan.com, medicinals.com, and biopure.eu.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
sometimes I don't know, if you get into this flow of talking, it's quick, it has a high form of coherence. I hope it turns out to be digestible if you listen to it. Maybe you need to listen to it a couple of times.
Yeah, I think also I didn't fully grasp some things, but yeah, it's a good thing.
For me, it's difficult because I have kind of the transformed physics in me. So from the internal perspective, it's all extremely logical. And I try to transport the beauty of that view as an emotion. For people who are still kind of hooked on the university physics, they might get stuck on the paradigm shift things. Like when I talk about two different time qualities that we overlay, this is not in the books yet. If I say the Big Bang is in the middle of time, the best thing I can offer is a song we produced,
But this is
or maybe,
where you're very good in.
How stalking the wild pendulum, Ishtar Bentov. Maybe therein you can also read it if you know the concept and you read it right.
It's difficult to get there in a completely scientific way. The best thing I found is a text written by Tom Bearden when he was not actually writing his books. They do not give that access, but it is a text by Tom Bearden that he wrote for the son of a friend of his. Yeah. That was not knowing if he should study electro technology, like electrical engineering or physics. So he started to write a little advice to the son of his friend that ended up to be a complete overview about the fringe physics that is not in the books, kind of starting with the full electrodynamic equations as formulated by Maxwell, going to Whittaker that actually formulated the integrated field theory, kind of the full equations, what everybody thinks needs to be discovered. It's there since Whittaker, going to Amnon Yariv that in nonlinear optics basically gave all the experimental proof for the full equations. Yeah. So there is a development in physics. If you know where to look at it, you can learn it with all the equations. The thing is that the mathematics to it is not taught at university. So you need to go to Maxwell and find the old mathematics like quaternion equations to understand scalar physics in the form where you can write the equations and make the calculations. And you hardly find people who do that job. Like one intermediate step was Matti Pitkänen with topological metrodynamics. He's kind of spot on and can integrate all things in his equations and calculations. But I found like 3 people worldwide who could perceive Matti Pitkänen and even read his papers without dropping out. And then you have the quantum gravity research that is coming from the pure geometric and numerological approach, kind of doing higher dimensional physics, taking it from the realm of possibilities, and then coming down to conclusions of how this reality is built, like having an 8D with a 4D crosscut that is projected by perspective onto a 3D projection. You know, this is what you can derive just from the numbers.
Yeah.
And it meets these 3 approaches. Maybe you take global scaling, the 4th one, to deal with the resonant frequency and resonant sizes, to understand the shaping and the size of things and the frequencies that apply as resonance frequencies. This all comes together in a point to give you a new understanding of what we actually experience here. And the perspectivation you can see from quantum gravity is kind of, this is the beauty of it. What do we experience? We experience singular perspectives through my eyes, through your eyes, through his eyes, experiencing a shared reality. This is quantum gravity at its best. And it's exactly what we experience. The reality we perceive is not primary. It is a shared experience we create together.
And can everyone be a scientist like you, actually? Or is it like something that you need to be born with?
Good question, I don't know.
First of all, start reading. Reading a lot.
Reading does a lot.
That helps a lot to take in information. If you ask me to, like, I'm gonna give another example. The table of elements by Walter Russell is more like a harmony.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of work.
Yeah, that's what the table of what's his name again that they learned in school. Mendeleev, yeah, it's just a piece of paper. Yeah. But if you see how Walter Russell do it, but yeah, for one part you have to take. You used to take a lot of information into you, and then also I think some imagination, some logical imagination, I would say.
I can share the basic trick that I applied on my reality, on my life. If I saw something that I did not understand, I didn't go to the conclusion this is wrong. I came to the conclusion that I apparently need to read it as many times as necessary until I understand what it's telling me.
That's true.
Yeah. And there is no shame in not understanding for me. It's just like I acknowledge here's an expert that worked his ass off to understand the field of research, and he's giving his best to share his experience, and I don't get stuck with the wording. This is one of the major traps, like look at Wilhelm Reich. Wilhelm Reich got stuck with organ and door and other words he invented because he wanted to be the one who is the hero. Mm. I can disgrace him on that. I can say you were a fucking idiot and you don't know nothing because you're not able to express yourself in the terms of normal science. I take him as a human and I try to extract the the vision he had from what he wrote. And I take it on the geometric plane, because only on the geometric plane you can combine it with other findings to find the common denominator in the geometry. Yeah? The geometry is not sensitive to wording. It's just the visual.
That's
And
true.
if you reduce things to the visual, you can compare them with each other, and you will find the common element instead of finding the contradiction in the wording. Yeah? You can ask, what is true? Is organ true, or is prana true, or is scalar potential true? No, it's three words for the same things, and this is what you see when you reduce everything to numbers and geometry. And this is how you learn. You go into the complexity of something, then you reduce it to the visual aspect, and then you integrate the visual aspect into what you already know. And the more you learn, the simpler it gets.
That's true.
This is kind of the miracle and the secret of doing proper research. Learn more to get things more simple.
And what is the basic that you would start with in your perception?
With your own spirit.
With your own spirit.
With developing your capabilities of understanding. You're getting them away from the solely mental, because the mental is always expressing itself in language. And in language you will always face contradictions and not unifications. Yeah? This is something you can process, when you open up to the visual, and this always has emotional components as well. You cannot understand mathematics unless you have the ability developed to experience beauty, because it's one and the same. Beauty is the expression of order in the universe. Go stare at fractal zooms for 25 hours and you will start to develop an idea of beauty.
Indeed.
By observing the different geometries and symmetries displayed. Yeah. Just that gives you an understanding of nature.
Yes.
Yeah. On the deepest level.
And maybe also learn lots of languages. Because
Can be helpful,
every
yeah.
book that has been translated, there's a catch in it.
Yeah.
I read a lot in English. Okay, it's more difficult than in Dutch, but it's your mother tongue. But like now, if you want to read Carl Jung, maybe it's better you know German.
Yeah, maybe I was raised partly in the Mediterranean, so my second mother tongue was Hebrew.
Oh yeah.
And maybe it's good to have a Semitic language as
I
a contrast to Greek or Latin-based language, because the way of thinking behind a Semitic language is completely different. It's completely connotative. It's giving you a root consonant structure for a field of meanings, and you more maneuver through fields of meanings than you maneuver through concrete meaning that is identified with a thing. This is the trap of the Greek philosophy, that you think that language is capable of identifying words with things. Coming from a Semitic background, this is complete nonsense.
Yeah.
It's not working. It's not even in the understanding of language. Yeah, when you grow up in this and then you see a Greek philosopher trying to identify things with the words, you go like, what a nutcase, What is he doing there? It's like
Yeah, some language has 2 or 3 words, where another language has just one for it.
yeah.
And
German is precise. You have one word for one thing. English is somehow simulating this broad connotative field by having 5 words that mean 5 different things, overlapping other words that.
And then negative words also,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. So
like in Belgium, you have also that thing.
You have always a broad spectrum of interpretation to not be precise. For a German mind, this is mind-blowing. Like how can you say something without saying something? Yeah.
I have to end it. We're gonna make 2 podcasts of this because we're right now.
Yeah, we opened a new.
we opened a whole new game here, but. This is why I got fully in the mental field because I was like very traumatized in the early childhood where I was then completely lost, and then I just followed everyone in my environment and not questioning my own power or my own being in existence, and just always just like a hook going on to people, they're existent, and then learning from them. But like, what about the people here in this matrix? Like, they are like non-player characters, they say. We live in a simulation, in a simulacrum. What is your thought on that? And they say 66.6 or from % of all the people are not real, or that they are all unconscious robots from the matrix itself, and that there are only a limited amount of souls real here. Or are we all real souls here having a human experience?
From my experience, most of us have a real soul background, but many of us have chucked them out of existence. So the soul is somehow attached, but more in the function of an observer in a cinema. You see a movie, it's happening, you can't intervene because your avatar is completely hooked to a control mode where he is played, and the soul cannot influence the outcome of his deeds anymore because it doesn't get access to the system, because the only entry point is the heart chakra. If it is blocked, the soul has nothing. The last thing we were used to is kind of the conscience. You have a slight feeling of wrong and right. And when you follow the wrong path, you kind of feel bad, but you don't really know why. This is kind of the last window that is now closing, where the soul can take influence. Yeah? But most of the people are beyond that point. They can do anything, and they couldn't care less about their conscience.
Yeah, follow the money, and make
follow
money.
The money, yeah.
Do
Got
the
a job to do, yeah. I'm contracted for a job, so I have to do the job. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, give me a break too. So,
let's make a break. Let's go to sleep.
Yeah.
And it's late. And Harald, thank you so much for being here. Wouter, thank you so much for also being here.
Yeah,
it's an honor.
and my first time
as a
co-host. It's an all different experience.
Yeah, and
I have to shut up more.
And next time you will be the guest, so we'll do another podcast together.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So yeah, give a like, subscribe, join the tribe. Any last words for you, Wouter?
Oh, good night.
Yeah, fight for your right like a knight.
It's been a long day, so not much words are needed anymore.
All the details from Harald Kautz you can find in the description. Do the research, question everything, because you just saw one podcast. There's many more things to see and learn, and go forward from there. Thank you, Harald.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Voel de kracht van Simos. Ga naar mijnmineraal.com om meer te leren en te ervaren hoe Simos jouw welzijn kan transformeren. Doe vandaag nog mee aan de revolutie van gezonde voeding met Simos.